It happened in less than 5 seconds. The sound of laughter erupted like an ugly crack of thunder in the silent hallway, echoing off the lockers and polished floors. Ms. Elara Bennett, the new English teacher, stood frozen, her knuckles tightening around the pile of books in her arms. She felt a sudden, humiliating tug at her skirt, sharp, deliberate, and cruel. The boys' laughter grew louder, bouncing between the tiled walls like a swarm of bees. Her heart slammed against her ribs, heat rushing to her face, but she forced herself to stand tall, refusing to let them see her break. Her shoes clicked softly as she walked past them, every step an effort not to run. Inside, she was trembling. She had only been here for 3 weeks, and the wolves had already chosen their prey. Before we go any further, if you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in standing up for what's right no matter how hard it gets, please take a second to like this video, subscribe to Ripple of Hope, and share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Together, we can make sure the world has more courage, and less cruelty. Elara was used to stares. She was young for a teacher, barely 24, with dark hair that always slipped free from her neat bun, and a quiet, deliberate way of speaking that made her seem reserved. But she wasn't weak. Life had already trained her to hold her head high when the world tried to push her down. Yet this was different. A line had been crossed. She didn't even need to turn around to know who had done it. Tyler, the tall one with a smirk permanently plastered on his face, and his shadow, Liam, who followed him like a sidekick desperate for scraps of attention. They ruled the corridors with confidence that came not from strength, but from knowing no one dared to challenge them. The humiliation clung to Elara like a second skin all day. She stood at the front of her classroom, teaching Shakespeare's Macbeth, her voice steady, but her mind replaying that hallway scene over and over. She saw the moment Tyler's hand shot out, the gleam in his eyes, the way Liam's laughter rang out like a victory bell. She remembered the shocked faces of the few students who had seen it, none of them brave enough to speak. She had felt this once before, years ago, when she herself had been a shy, quiet high school girl, cornered by boys who thought her silence was permission. She had never forgotten the burn of shame, the silence of bystanders, the way the world seemed to move on as if nothing had happened. After school, she sat in her small apartment, tea cooling beside her untouched. The city outside bustled with life, but her world had narrowed to a single choice: ignore it and let them believe they had won, or fight back. She thought about going to the principal, but she already knew how that would play out. Tyler's father was a wealthy donor to the school, his mother was on the board. Complaints would be investigated and then quietly swept away. No, if she wanted this to end, she'd have to be smart. She spent the next week observing, quietly, invisibly. She noticed the way Tyler and Liam strutted through the halls between classes, the way their friends laughed at their every word, the way their arrogance grew unchecked. She also noticed something else: Tyler was failing her class. Not just failing, on the brink of being benched from the school's championship basketball team because of his grades. The only thing he seemed to care about more than himself was that game. And in that, she saw the smallest flicker of opportunity. The next Monday, Elara walked into class with a calm smile, but her mind was sharp as glass. She announced that the next assignment would be a live dramatic reading. Students would perform key scenes from Macbeth in front of the class, in character, with costumes. No one could pass without participating, and the grade would be weighted heavily. Tyler groaned, rolling his eyes, muttering about how stupid it was. But when she added that anyone who failed this project would automatically fail the term, she saw a flicker of panic in his eyes. Over the next few days, she helped him prepare his role, ironically, the part of Macbeth himself, a proud man undone by arrogance. She encouraged him to take it seriously, knowing full well he thought it was beneath him. But what Tyler didn't know was that she was planning something far more poetic than just grading him harshly. Performance day arrived, and the classroom was buzzing. Students had brought makeshift costumes, robes, crowns, daggers made from cardboard. Elara had set up a camera in the back, explaining it was for school records, but really, it was for something else entirely. Tyler, in an old curtain draped like a royal cape, stood before the class. He stumbled through his lines, his voice dripping with boredom, until she prompted him to put more energy into it. And that's when it happened. Halfway through his speech, she handed him a prop dagger, but the dagger's handle was coated with washable red paint. As he gestured dramatically, the paint smeared all over his hands and face, leaving him looking like a clumsy, overzealous actor who had just lost a fight with a bucket of ketchup. The class erupted into laughter, not cruel, but unstoppable. Tyler flushed crimson under the red paint, fumbling with his lines, his cocky grin gone. But Elara didn't humiliate him outright. She kept her tone encouraging, treated it like part of the show, and when it was over, she gave him a solid grade for effort. Yet the subtle shift had already begun. The next day, whispers followed Tyler down the hall, not about how he had embarrassed her, but about how ridiculous he had looked trying to act like a king. His invincible image had a crack now, and everyone could see it. In the weeks that followed, she used that crack to teach him something real. She called him after class, not to scold, but to talk. She told him she believed he was capable of more than cheap jokes and cruel pranks. At first, he scoffed, but slowly, very slowly, something in him began to change. He started showing up early, asking questions about the play, even staying after school to practice lines for the next assignment. The smirk softened. The arrogance faded. By the end of the semester, Tyler wasn't the same boy who had grabbed at her skirt in the hallway. He wasn't perfect, no one changes overnight, but he had learned that respect was worth more than popularity, and that sometimes the people you least expect can be the ones who change you the most. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to Ripple of Hope. Your support helps us tell more stories that remind the world of the power of resilience and the possibility of redemption. Before you go, I have a special request: leave a comment sharing the moment in your life when someone surprised you by changing for the better. Your words might be the encouragement someone else needs today.